Oh, so hello, Oren.
Hi.
You're from the European Maccabi Games
Right.
here, our guest for today. So we just seen the image film. So could you tell us a little bit about what the Maccabi Games are, what the history is?
Yes, of course. Well, the Maccabi Games take place every 4 years, actually in Israel. It's the World Maccabi Games. And also every 4 years we have the European Maccabi Games taking place every time at a different big city in Europe. They were in Amsterdam, Antwerp, Vienna, and now they're coming to Germany, to Berlin for the first time, which is very special. And this year it's 70 years after the end of the Second World War and after the end of the Shoah, and it's 50 years of German-Israeli diplomatic relations. And basically the European Maccabi Games are the Jewish European Championships in many different sports. Here in Berlin we'll have 20 different sports, ranging from badminton over dressage, football, basketball, fencing, swimming, all kinds of sports. And it's a very meaningful and multi-sport big event.
Yes, I've understood that you also have smaller sports that maybe not are as prominent, for example, in the Olympics. I heard rumors about a bridge team.
Yes.
Is actually a bridge team?
Well, there are many bridge teams coming from many countries, and they're making up a bridge tournament. Bridge seems to be a sport, let's call it a sport in this case, popular with Jewish grandmothers, let's put it that way.
All right. So if I would go there, I could cheer for someone's granny. Right,
yeah, well, it's not only grandmothers taking place. Actually, for example, Hungary, they have a lot of younger bridge players, and yeah, this is maybe a little bit something that you don't know from the Olympics or from other sport events. But besides that, any other sport that we have is actually quite famous.
Okay, so will there be any events in the Olympiastadion?
Well, we're not really using the Olympic Stadium. It's a little bit too big for our event. We might have a couple of rounds there for a half marathon, but we're using the Waldbühne, which is also a very historic site venue on the Olympic premises in Berlin, and we'll have our big opening ceremony there on July 28th with artists from Israel, from America, and from Berlin, and this is actually our biggest event outside of the sport.
All right. So, which stadiums will you be using, for example, for the football?
Football will be in the Olympic Park, which is the whole area around the Olympic Stadium, and we're using every football pitch that is there, besides the one that is used by the Hertha Berlin Pro team. Okay. But we have, like, I think 7 or 8 pitches that we'll use.
It's, I remember we at Tennis Borussia have a special relationship with the Olympic Stadium. So you might know that our former president Hans Rosenthal once said it was when they had the relegation promotion game there, it was a mixture of triumph and disgust, standing there in the same for him, standing in the same booth as Hitler did. So that's why I was asking. But if you're not reusing the Olympic Stadium, well, this is moot.
The truth is that we would use it if we needed that the capacities. We don't need those capacities. But I want to say a few remarks on what you just said. The first time I came into the Olympic Park, I had the same feeling of awe, but disgust. And I thought to myself, is it right to bring the European Maccabi Games, which are the biggest Jewish event in Europe at all, to bring them into this area? But after I've been there 2 or 3 times, I was convinced that it's just the right move to bring the European Maccabi Games there, because I mean, Hans Rosenthal survived the Holocaust, and he was from a different generation. There's a new generation in Europe among Jews, and this generation has a very different relationship also to Germany. We have now close to 2,400 participants. This is something that's never been reached at European Maccabi Games, and it just shows us that Germany today is perceived by Jews in Europe very differently from what it has been perceived before. And still, we don't forget the Holocaust. We never can. But we have a different relationship also as Jews in Germany today. Where my parents would say they are Jews in Germany, I would say I'm a German Jew. There's quite a difference in that.
Yes. So were there any difficulties in the organization when it came to the point when you had to decide whether to go to Berlin or not? Were there any people saying, nah, I'd rather not?
Yes, of course. let's say the older generation, they did oppose the move to come to Germany and then especially to Berlin. But I think it took us some time, but we did quite a good job to convince them that we will not forget what happened here 70, 80 years ago, but at the same time, we as a new generation have a legitimate right to have this big event here as a new generation of Jews in Germany.
Oh. So is there anything you want to say to the people watching today?
Well, I think that most of the people watching today are TB Borussia fans, and I think that we have been cooperating for a few events already, and I'm very grateful for that. And I would like to invite everybody to come, especially to our opening ceremony, as I said, July 28th, Waldbühne, but also to come to visit the different sport events. They are all free of charge besides the opening ceremony, but if you want to watch sport, just come to Berlin. From July 28 to August 4, the sports tournaments are taking place here, and everybody's invited for this big Jewish event to show and to clearly stand up against anti-Semitism, racism, and any other kind of social exclusion.
Oh, thank you, Oren, for being here.
Thank you for giving me the chance.
I hope you will enjoy yourself now.
Thanks.
Okay.